If you feel like you're coming to the end of your tether in terms of your hormone health, you feel like you have tried absolutely everything and you're just at the point of thinking, should I just scrap everything and forget all the changes that I've made? I totally know how you're feeling. This is exactly what I have been through. I feel like our hormones are one of those things that, it's so unique, it's so different from person to person, and I just think they take so much longer than we would like a lot of the time. If you've been feeling off for a really long time, you might even have blood tests and maybe they've come back normal or abnormal. And if you're feeling like you're out of control with your body, I feel like this video is going to be perfect for you, and I'm going to share my experience and what I've learned. I feel like I have literally tried absolutely everything, and just for a little bit of context, I was literally trying 3 sessions of acupuncture a week. At one point, I've tried every single supplement there is, and I feel like I've made all the lifestyle changes, and I wanted to just put in a video what has actually helped the most and what sped things up, what slowed things down, because there's so much advice online and I feel like that a lot of it is conflicting as well. Take it in your own stride because we're all at different starting points as well. As a bit of background with my hormone journey, so I got diagnosed with PCOS 5 years ago, and I managed to reverse a lot of those symptoms from lifestyle and nutrition changes. I've never taken any sort of medication. I've never gone back on the pill. I was on the pill from when I was about 16. I went on it for my acne, and then I came off it when I was around 20. And I do feel like that's played a massive role just in my actual hormone health. And when I got diagnosed, I just got given advice, go on some sort of pill to fix the PCOS, which just didn't make sense. And that's when this all started, like 5 years ago. And within that time frame, I've gone from having high testosterone, for example, when I first got my blood test results, to I haven't had any high testosterone. So what I did want to mention as well is, like, with your hormones, you can change over time as well. So it is about always like tweaking things based on what symptoms that you've got right in that moment. And if your hormones feel all over the place, you're not broken. Please don't think that you're broken, and don't think that your body's working against you. Like, actually, our bodies are so much smarter than we realize, and it's actually that we're disconnected from our own body's signals. So it can just be a simple switch of like actually slowing down enough to be able to understand what your body's trying to tell you. Like, our bodies can heal themselves, and no matter like where you are, that is so possible. So please don't think, like, based on what a doctor's told you, that you're gonna have to put up with certain symptoms for the rest of your life, because I'm just not having it. It's not true. And there's so many natural things that you can do with persistence, consistency, and giving yourself enough time, because a lot of it is actually the mental stress that we put on ourselves, especially when we're like, right, I need to sort my hormones out now. It needs to happen today. It needs to happen within a week, within a month, when in reality it can take longer than that. But you have got to be being proactive and not just doing, set things for like a week and then not really giving it a full go at trying to change your actual lifestyle. So I was experiencing bloating and irregular cycle. So I did a bodybuilding prep back end of last year, and I lost my menstrual cycle totally. And this isn't something I've ever experienced before. I don't think I've ever got down to like single digit. Well, I've definitely not got down to single digit body fat before. So that contributed to, obviously, as well, having PCOS and amenorrhea. And that came from a combination of over-exercising, under-eating for the purpose of a competition. Now, if I'd have known what I know now, I wouldn't have put my body through what I did. I can say that pretty bluntly now. Like, me 6 months ago couldn't have even probably come out with those words, because I didn't know what I now know. I can't get over how long it's taken me to heal my body, heal my mindset. What I was experiencing all of this year was fatigue, bloating, even at a lower body weight than what was my usual. Like, it was quite strange. A lot of abdominal bloating, basically, and inflammation all over. I had anxiety. I was really struggling with my sleep, like lots of sleep issues and disturbances. And it was basically my body screaming at me, but I hadn't put 2 and 2 together, or hadn't combined everything thinking it was that. Like, I think we can go through stages of denial as well. Then I also got that followed up with my blood work, and my blood work, like, everything was just pretty flatlined, which was not great. And I was also aware of that going into prep. A lot of other athletes that I'd spoken to had experienced the exact same thing. What I understand as well is, like, when you take your body to an extreme, usually what other athletes do is then go to the other extreme of putting on a lot of weight gain. But in my head, it didn't make sense in that moment, because I thought, how's that going to do my body any good? But that was a part of the healing. So I was also training 5 times a week, and before that I trained 4 days, and I'm back training 4 days a week. I find if I'm doing cardio as well as like 5 gym sessions, my body just doesn't like it. That's something that I've learned this year. But I was also noticing like random hair growth, like the odd long hair on my chin, for example, that was really rogue and random. But I'd say the main concern concern for me was not having a regular period, and I was having bits of spotting but not a regular cycle. And our cycles, our periods, are the biggest indication of health. They're a vital sign, which means that is how you know that your body's actually operating in a healthy way. Like, it's not something that we can just brush off. And I love how online at the moment we're hearing more and more professionals start speaking out, and conversations like Stephen Bartlett was having just last week with some incredible specialists on, and it's a 3-hour podcast on hormones, and I couldn't recommend you more to go and watch that. And it's so nice to see more awareness being spread and also more research, because I feel like PCOS is one of those misunderstood conditions, and just hormones in general. I feel like there's such a lack of knowledge in a lot of different areas, and also a lack of support. So what I changed when I really wanted to start fixing my hormones was back in March. I just got to a point where I was like, I can't keep going on as I currently am, which is not having a regular period and also just not feeling like myself. Like, I was dry, as in I wasn't even sweating out of my armpits, no cervical fluid from anywhere, just very dry, like even my scalp. And when I went to see a Chinese medicine practitioner, he pricked my hand, and even like weird little things, like I didn't bleed easily, which was crazy. And on another level, he called that blocked chi. This might mean nothing to you, it didn't mean anything to me, but I quickly went away and googled. But that is basically like a block of energy flow in traditional Chinese medicine terms, which fascinated me. So I really started diving into like the holistic side and more different ways, rather than just looking at the traditional route of going down, okay, going on HRT or something like that, because I had to first of all come to the realization something needs to change. It's either my lifestyle, I need to stop doing so much over exercising, and I need to increase what I'm currently eating. And it was also a mixture of probably not eating enough carbs without realizing like this is so easily done, and also why I personally find tracking helps me a lot, because if sometimes when I don't track, I find it easier to not undereat, but just not eat enough of, say, protein, carbs and fats. So this is something to definitely think about if you are wanting to work on your hormone health, is you do want to have an understanding of like what protein, carbs and fats you're getting each day. And carbs play a really, really important role in your body feeling safe, and also of course healthy fats. But what I do see a lot, and what I kind of found the trap with, was like I was increasing my protein, increasing my fat, but not having enough carbs. I noticed such a difference when I started increasing my actual carbohydrates, so adding more potatoes, adding an extra 20 grams of oats. I was having about 80 grams of oats in a morning compared to my usual 50 to 60. I had my Whoop watch on all the time, and I literally started seeing my skin temperature come up because my body was starting to function again, and I could see this backed up with my actual metrics, which was really helpful for a short window of time, but I'll get into that in a second. Pulling back steps and cardio, this was the first thing that I did. So I pulled back from averaging 13k to 16k right back to between 9 and 10k steps, and I just wasn't as anal about hitting it. If one day I was super busy, I was a little bit under, and that meant I had more energy for my actual day-to-day lifestyle. I actually just felt a happier person because I had some energy back. Like, you think to yourself how long it actually takes you to walk 13 to 16k steps. Yes, it's a walk, but it's still, you're exerting energy, and it is a form of cardio at the end of the day. Of course, it's lower intensity, like not like a HIIT session, but it is still adding stress onto your body, especially when you're doing like 3-4 hours of walking a day, you know, when you put that into perspective. So giving my body the actual rest that it needed, and sitting myself on the couch. Like, I had 6 months where I never really sat still for 2 minutes, and that can also keep you in a loop with food as well, where you're having to over-exercise, but then you're overeating to compensate, if that makes sense, because you're obviously hungrier. Whereas if you can find like more of a homeostasis where your body feels happier at, like, that's just going to be more maintainable on every single level. Next thing I did was to pull out running, which I was really reluctant to do, but I feel like that contributed. So I took running out totally for 3 months. I still did cardio, so I did my Stairmaster sessions like zone 2, so I kept my heart rate below 130 beats per minute and just didn't overexert myself. This was probably one of the hardest ones because I love running for my mental health, and I really enjoy outdoor cardio, that sort of thing. So you could swap it for like, you know, going on a bike instead, but I feel like that just helped my body. Like, I was looking more at my metrics on my Whoop to see what my skin temperature was doing and tying everything together. I also used ChatGPT to piece things together, like look at if I was like trying to get an ovulation or like a sign of ovulation, and then also backing that up with blood work. All of these factors came together, if that makes sense, in getting my hormones back regular. And it wasn't just like, I didn't just want numbers on a screen to be back regular. I wanted to feel more like myself, like to start feeling happy again, to start feeling more like myself. I was pretty suppressed just across the board, and I also wasn't getting anything out of my actual gym sessions. Like, I noticed I wasn't putting on lean muscle, or like my physique wasn't developing in any which which way, and I was also plateaued totally with my actual weights in the gym and just felt like I was in this weird space where I felt skinny fat, inflamed, and like I didn't know what to do with myself. So something had to change. I think you do need to get to that point where you're uncomfortable enough to make those changes. Then next thing was pulling back caffeine. This was probably, I just think this could be the hardest one. So I did not have a single coffee first thing in the morning without having had my breakfast. So I'd leave it a couple of hours before having my coffee. I did only do this for 3 months, and I have gone back to having my coffee with my breakfast, not within like a couple of hours. But I feel like that was another contributing factor. Like I just was calmer in my actual nervous system. I actually noticed throughout the days I was slower paced, not going at a million miles per hour. I was recalibrating just body, mind, soul and spirit across the board. I really think I was having too much caffeine before, like 3-4 coffees a day, and I was just constantly in that wired feeling, and like my body was in a fight and flight response. Like you don't notice yourself sometimes getting into that state of being in fight or flight. Like I feel like that's gradual, but then I remember the day where it was like a switch going off where I was like, oh, my body feels calm. So something Cat finally gave. The next thing that I focused on was my sleep, stress management and nervous system repair, basically. So when you hear people say, oh, reduce your stress, and you're just like, but life is quite stressful. Like, where do I go with that information? Like, it's fine saying reduce your stress levels, but what does that actually look like? Now, for me, I had to overhaul my whole life. Like, how I was working was a problem. My time wasn't allocated well. I was just pretty much working all the time. I didn't time block things. I didn't schedule things in. I felt like I was just letting the day take me. And when you start a new business, this is normal, and I'm not going to be someone that's going to sit here and say that you can have all the time off whilst you're trying to start a new business or start anything or build anything from the ground up. It takes sacrifice, hard work and strategy as well, and I feel like my strategy was lacking, and also just keeping my mental health in the gutter because I was just constantly burning myself out, which then obviously affected, like, I think that's a big part of how I ended up in a real mess with my hormones and mental health, because when your hormones aren't functioning, obviously your brain's not functioning, like everything's so connected. It's fine saying, okay, I'm going to get shredded as possible and get to a really unhealthy, basically, body fat as a woman. Are you prepared for what's going to come with that, which is your mental health's going to deteriorate? And I had the mentality, I was like, oh, I'm strong mentally, which I am and always will be, as are you. Like, you can get through anything, you can overcome anything at all. Anything you put your mind to, you can overcome. But I just wanted to share right now, me and you, in this moment, like this was my reality, and if I could help one of you watching this who's considering doing something like this to not do that, you're going to save yourself a lot of time, basically. Like, I've had to spend months and months just focusing on repairing, and I've had to sacrifice other goals like running another marathon or setting another fitness goal, because my health just come first and foremost, as well as my mental health, and rebuilding my friendships, rebuilding my relationships and rebuilding my life back, basically, and figuring out what I actually want that to look like. And that's meant knocking a lot of stuff down, basically, and just rebuilding from scratch, which I'm currently in the midst of, which is great fun. So with stress management, I had to just look at what actually I need to be doing and get rid of the fluff, and also set boundaries. So if you're accessible 24 hours a day, like, how are you going to have time for yourself, your family? Like, I found myself, I was replying to loads of people online, but I wasn't even replying to my dad's text or my brother's text. I wasn't there for my nephews, and I thought, this isn't right. Like, I haven't seen my friends in 6 months, but I've poured my heart and soul into work. It's a balancing act, but you've just got to get real with yourself. If everything was to go tomorrow, what is most important? And I know this sounds deep, but this is just my kind of truth. Then focusing on recovery and strength instead. So I was really on it with adding in sauna. I did not do any cold exposure whatsoever. Like, my body, I just started thinking, oh, my body would hate to be in cold water right now, and just focused on relaxing. Like, I feel like my body was enjoying heat. So I did sauna twice a week during these 3 months, where I really stripped everything back and started working on that front. That just helps with detoxing and also just creating that stillness, because you can't really do a right lot in the sauna, can you? You can't really go on your phone because it overheats. You can't really take a paper book in because it all falls apart. So you were literally just sat with your thoughts. This is where you can start adding in things like meditation, and this is exactly what I take you through inside the Flowness Club, and also what I've got coming, which I'll tell you about later on in the video, which is a bundle launching in November. So looking at things from all of those different perspectives, adding in 10 minutes to do meditation in the morning. If I was in a rush one day, I'd just do 5 minutes. This is what is just part of my tools that literally keep me mentally in a good spot, and also just focusing on my own energy, because I think we can just get into the external so quickly, can't we? We can just jump into everyone else's life, and the minute we open our eyes, we're on Instagram or we're distracted and we haven't even set our intentions for the day. So creating that little bit of time in the morning, whether it means getting up 10 minutes earlier, is going to make the biggest difference. And then also journaling. So I have my same prompts that I use day in, day out, which are really intentional and all around creating creating more gratitude. And gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions that we can ever implement, and also expands our life across the whole board, because we're tapping into something greater than ourselves, and also tapping into our potential, into our mind that isn't limited by things that we pick up day to day, and getting rid of negative beliefs that just don't really help us get somewhere. And of course, with our meditation and journaling means we have a slightly slower morning, so that means you can romanticize your breakfast, make something that you love every day. Like, I love having my oats, having my coffee in the morning. I look forward to it every single day. It could look totally different for you, like make it work for you, but just what is it? Is it putting them little under eye things on in the morning? Is it ice rolling your face? Is it having a lemon water? Like, whatever that is, just even if you did 2 to 3 things, that is going to really, really help just with creating that nervous system reset, and also adding that bit of self-care in. And the next big one is simplifying nutrition and actually having structured meals. I had to get uncomfortable, I must admit, especially with, I needed to increase my carbs that were far too low for way too long. So having consistent meals was a big one. So I commit to 4 to 5 meals a day over these 3 months, and I was in a surplus. I did that for 3 to 4 months, like in a high surplus. I was gaining 0.6 kg a week. You don't need to do the exact same, but just making sure you're eating enough, at least maintenance of slight small surplus if you are super active. I was thinking that 1600 calories a day is enough when, you know, you're training so much day to day, you're doing 13k steps or whatever. Like, your body's just never going to feel safe on 1600 calories if you've got all that expenditure. Like, the math just does not math. In order to have a cycle, to ovulate and be healthy, it needs to feel in a safe enough state to be able to do those things, you know. Getting in enough protein, but at the moment, you know, we keep seeing protein and healthy fats for hormones, but what about our carbs and fibre? If you're just having, say, lettuce leaves, like, that's not the most fibrous thing that you can have. Like, having variety each day, adding in omega-3s. So I was making sure I had oily fish 2 to 3 times a week. I've been a little bit slack with this recently, I must admit, but that has been really, really helpful. And then looking to balance blood sugar. So a lot of hormone imbalances, especially PCOS, is down to insulin resistance. So you want to make sure you're keeping that nice and steady. So having all your meals paired with protein, carbs and fats, rather than just being like carb dominant, that's where tracking can help. But you don't have to also track. You can take a note in your notes app, especially starting your day with something really nice and balanced, slow releasing carbs like oats. Then I added key supplements to support my cycle. These have been an addition, so things like omega-3s that are a little bit harder to get from foods other than, say, oily fish. I added in inositol and magnesium glycinate before bed every night, zinc and turmeric for inflammation. Again, these aren't necessary, like, you can get a lot from your food, but just if you have any imbalances as well, like when I did my blood work, I just then supplemented with them and made sure I was getting good quality supplements, but not overdoing it, not trying to do too much at once, you know. On the supplement front as well, like, I have been to countless specialists. I must have been to 5 different specialists right now, and I'm still in the process. I still don't feel like I've found my person, and I've had such different results. Like, with the first specialist I spoke to, I'm still traumatized from. They just sat in front of me and said, you need to go in HRT to fix your hormones, which I've managed to prove them wrong, because now, like, all my hormone levels on my blood work, everything is in range, which is amazing, and I've done that from these exact changes in this video. But the bottom line definitely is, it's not a quick fix with your hormones. It takes months of patience, listening to your body, trusting your body, and also speaking to your body with confidence as well, saying like, you are going to heal, and really just getting into the mindset of like, my body's healing. Like, these thoughts really do make a difference to your subconscious mind. Then you make different decisions based on what you're telling yourself every day. Like, I had a few months where I was really struggling. I was like, oh my God, am I just never going to get a period back? That didn't help with, like, I feel like my actions that followed on from that weren't the most helpful. The results of making these changes has meant my cycles have become much more regular. I've got way better digestion and mood. Like, I've actually got my personality back, I feel like, and my sense of humour has come back. I'm actually sweating, which I know sounds crazy, but honestly, I was not sweating. Like, my scalp, everything was just dry. I was just dry and crusty. I've got way more stable energy, and I actually feel connected to myself. I get sensations like goosebumps and emotions, because again, I had no emotions. I want to just help you watching this. If you've felt an element of what I felt, like, just know that you're not on your own with this. Please get support. Don't feel like you need to deal with this on your own, and don't bury your head in the sand, which is what I also did. And it's also easy to start getting obsessed with metrics. So like, I took my Whoop off because I just was sick of looking at it. And whatever's adding more stress in your mind, like, just remove. Whatever is not serving you, like, don't add more stress, especially when this whole part of this is like to reduce stress. And I've been working on on something in the background for you that's going to really help you on your hormone health journey, which is my brand new 50 top favorite recipes, all of which are high in protein, are going to help with balancing your blood sugar, absolutely delicious and super easy to make. And my Back in Flow bundle, which is coming and will be available on the 17th of November. You'll be able to register your interest on the 1st of November and get a 10% discount code. Everything's going to be linked in the top line of this video description if that sounds like something you could do in your life right now. I also just wanted to thank you so much for being here. I hope this has come at a good time for you, and I would love to know what you thought of this video in the comments down below. So much love for you, and keep doing what you're doing, keep on going, like one day at a time, just breaking things down as much as possible, and I promise you, you're going to be well on your way. I can't wait to see you in the next video.